Hey guys, it's Spacey Sims, and we are back with more Virche Evermore. Running from Lucas. Bordo. Running from Bordo, sure. I totally forgot because I didn't get to play yesterday, so shit, I forgot where we were till I opened it up, and I'm like, oh, all right. So anyway, we need to find the Royal Guard or the Corps. A shadow suddenly landed in front of us. I'm surprised he's chasing us. Ah! Bordo raised his bloodied halberd and walked toward us. Why would he do this? As he slowly drew it back, and then Lucas is magically here. Okay, well, wait a minute. Spacey. It was a roar like thunder. Before I knew it, someone had come from behind me and struck Bordo, knocking him back. Okay, listen. I knew that there were we knew that there was multiple, or like at least a stand-in, because the one that Mathis hit with the car and then whatever couldn't Spider-Man up walls. So didn't quite have the talent, right? Which is why it seemed fishy and like, I don't think it's the real one, and then it wasn't. So like, do you think there's like multiple? Like, obviously, like, Lucas has to train a successor because he's gonna die soon, right? Unless he becomes a reliver. So, like, do you think there's multiple? Because there's no fucking way that you would give Bordo the exact same fucking poses as Lucas. Come on. So, like, I'm shot, and then Lucas being so strong and breaking a rib cage. You know what I mean? Like, it's just so fucking fishy, and I'm not buying it. I know the game is like, no, see, Lucas and Bordo, two different people. I don't know if I buy it. Like, I don't know. I don't buy it. Cause like, no. You set it up so like, well, again, why would you use Lucas's poses? Like, you know? Unless, of course, then again, it could also be like, well, Lucas doesn't realize he has a clone. But I'm not dead yet. Wait a minute. I mean, maybe Lucas isn't a real boy either. Maybe none of us are. Anyway, before I knew it, someone had come from behind me and struck Bordo, knocking him back. Okay, but the fact that Lucas can do this and nobody else has ever been like... I'm just saying. Come on, that's us as fuck. The wall that took his body crumbled from the force. Okay. Interesting. The person who kicked that monster was... Spacey, are you alright? Lucas? Why? Yeah, why? How? Okay. It's getting interesting, though. Like, you're still not going to convince me that somehow Lucas and Bordo aren't the same damn person, even though they're in the same place right now at the same time. And I'd be like, okay, it's another imposter somehow. Or again, maybe there's multiple. We have several people who work in shifts. You know what I mean? But... But the way it makes it sound, Lucas kicking him, he crashed into a wall and the wall crumbled. That sounds like something that, like, the real Bordo, you know, the one that Spider-Man's up walls. Lucas, right? Would be capable of doing, where the other one that Mathis hit with a car, it's not like the car burst into flames or crumpled into a heap. You know what I mean? Like, that Bordo was not nearly as strong, which is why it was like, that's fake. That one, he ain't really dead. Like, come on. You know what I mean? And he ran through the alleys instead of, like, ping-ponging off the fucking walls and disappearing into the night, like the first time we ran into him. This one seems actually strong? Huh. Maybe not, but anyway. Why was he here? Yeah, why is he here when he was the one attacking? I'm not falling for it. We will get to the end and I will be like, and it'll be like, Bordo has been unmasked to be so-and-so, and I'll be like, nah, I don't believe it. They have the same fucking poses. I'll explain later. First, we need to escape and... See, I mean, that's a Lucas pose. I wish Lucas was making the same pose as Bordo when you're, like, talking to him right now. It'd just be fucking amazing. Pretty sure he makes that pose, doesn't he? Bordo groaned as he stood up. Lucas quietly moved in front of me and Mathis to protect us. Well, I don't think the real Bordo, Lucas, would groan after backing into a wall. He would crumble the fucking wall and then he'd walk away fine, so... So maybe this is another, like, not quite as strong as Lucas imposter. Again, you gotta train backups. You know what I'm saying? Tension filled the air as they faced each other. I may not be much of a threat, but if you dare harm them, I will fight with all my might. I'm pretty sure you are a threat. You broke fucking Eve's rib. Just trying to give him CPR. As if provoked, Boros slowly moved in when suddenly... Probably sensed people starting to gather from the sound of the wall crumbling. It could have just been a really damaged wall. Like the other night, he jumped up the wall and disappeared into the night sky. Okay, so see, that though, if he just ran away, but he leapt up the wall. The one that Mathis hit was a car, obviously, we know wasn't the real one. This seems more like the first one we met, but I'm still not convinced it's not Lucas, even though they're in the same place at the same time. Not convinced at all. I think Lucas is, you gotta train a backup, so... When he was completely out of sight, the strength left my knees and I finally crumbled to the ground with Mathis. You did well to protect each other. You've done... No, you must have been scared. But it's all right now. He gently embraced us together. I trembled and nodded as he held us in his arms. I do find this interesting, though. Later, the Royal Guard received report of the disturbance and arrived on the scene. We were taken into the church base used by the Corps. It seemed that there were a number of murders in Cheetahs before the one we saw. Mathis and I both witnessed his gruesome work in action. Like a number, is he just going, or is there multiple? Team effort. Mathis was in such a state of shock that he was unable to even speak. And, maybe it's not like, oh, Lucas was just born strong. It's, enhanced. You know what I mean? Scientific enhancement. Like, we turned him into the bionic Jesus man or something. So, there might be a second one. You know what I mean? I just do not think Lucas is not involved. This is not convincing me. Okay? I know it should, and I should be like, oh, well, it can't be Lucas then. But, same pose. Come the fuck on. There's something there. That's not... You didn't just we'll just recycle his poses because fuck it, no one will know. If you were gonna do that, you would have recycled, a pose from every single one of the love interests, and then that would have been interesting. You know what I mean? That would have been fun. Anyway, hearing news of what happened, Jean arrived and took his master back home. I couldn't stop trembling. My mind seemed unwilling to confront what had just happened. When Anko said that this was just the beginning, was he talking about Boro? When I hadn't returned to the orphanage earlier, Mother contacted Lucas, who came to the rescue. Could you imagine? They're like, it's time for us to go out and kill people, guys. Yeah, and all of a sudden Lucas is like, wait. It's a phone call. Huh? In the middle of stabbing someone. Shh, shh. Hold on, Sister Salome. I'm going to need you to shut the fuck up. Yeah? Oh, yeah, I'll look for her. I got to take care of one thing first. Finishes stabbing someone, takes off his robe, goes up. Obviously, we don't have cell phones, so I know that's not how it happened. But that's just how I'm picturing it in my head, and it's kind of funny. It had been 3 hours, but I was still sitting frozen at the church. The door slowly opened. My body jolted, thinking that the shadow had returned for me. It's gonna be fucked up when you find out it's your boyfriend. Oh! God damn, why is he so gorgeous and stabby? Look at how beautiful he is in his CGs. Don't worry, Spacey. It's just me. Lucas? Yes, your teacher, Lucas Proust. The warm hand that acknowledged me and encouraged me reached out and held my shaking hand. Sorry. I am truly sorry for having you experience such horrors. See? It feels like you're taking a little more blame than you should unless you're Boro. I'm just saying. If I hadn't asked you to deliver that assignment, you wouldn't have had to witness that gruesome sight. I knew who was really at fault. Yet he was blaming himself, and his expression warped with pain. After a brief silence, although I want to be like, I feel like he's just thinking a little bit guilty because he knows he's stabbing people. Okay? But at the same time, I also feel like the surface level is I sent you to deliver the assignment, you were out late, and I'm upset and blaming myself because I'm in love with you. If we take everything in his diary at face value, you know what I mean? Which I'm pretty sure we're supposed to. You know, she's over here like, nah! And it's like, I'm pretty sure we're supposed to take his he's kind of got an obsession with us, huh? Are we the minor that he was upset? Because then that's different. I'm just concerned about the minor obsession thing, okay? But like if everything he's been writing in his journal, oh beloved angel, whatever, of course he'd feel overly like guilty. I guess that's where I was going, He'd feel really bad and blame himself because he loves us, so that's kind of sweet. I think a little bit of it's guilt too, but legit guilt, not just the I should have protected you because I love you kind of guilt, where you're like, silly, you can't always do that. After a brief silence, I was somehow able to calm my heavy breathing enough to speak. You've done nothing wrong, Lucas. Well, it's my fault. I was the one who stayed out so late. I even dragged Mathis into the situation. Well, not really. He followed you, so. Uncle warned me before that the deaths weren't over yet. Just as I was about to bring that up, you're wrong. Lucas denied it in a firm voice. This is not the time or the place to be strong, Spacey. In fact, I may have to scold you until you're honest with me. Huh? You're allowed to blame those responsible. If that's the extent of your sins, I'm sure God will forgive you. Instead of tears, something else spilled out. Lucas, I was so scared. My fears were exposed. My fingers and lips trembled. If I had died, I would never be able to help you again. I wouldn't be able to make the children smile with you. I initially became his aide as a way to conduct my investigation, but the heartwarming time spent with him and the children grew stronger and stronger. The heartwarming time spent with him and the children. Wow, I don't know, I couldn't read today. Realizing how close I was, just wondering what if. I can't stop from shaking. Are we in love already? Okay, I'm okay with this. Let's confess our love and make out now before he dies. I was like, I just don't see this going well for him. I see. So please, would you please hold my hand a little while longer? I still can't believe that I'm alive, that I was able to see you again. I'll hold your hand for as long as you wish. Thank you for not giving up on your life in the face of that fearful existence. Truly glad you're safe. Was he like this? Why did he dote on me without a second thought? He's in love with you. With Lucas. Makes me forget that I'm the sinful death. Porto had revived from the dead, and with him the murders. During our previous operation, his name was circulated among the people in order to aid with his capture. No gag order could erase what was known. The news that he revived spread quickly and sent everyone into fearful unease. I changed into a new set of clothes that Adolphe brought from the orphanage. When I rejoined them, I had explained everything that I saw. I love Adolphe's pissed off face. There's just something about his little angry face that I just love. It's so adorable. I know you're mad, but there's just, I don't know what it is. So all that trouble to finally stop Boro was for nothing since he's still alive. Guess the nightmare continues. I didn't think your hunch would lead anywhere, let alone come true. Honestly, I just wanted to uncover his identity. Not like this. I understand. It seems he defied all our expectations. His body was recovered back then, so maybe he revived as a reliver. Probably. I mean, unless there's some kind of illegal reliver manufacturing facility that even the Institute doesn't know about. I mean, Hugo, that's oddly specific. Sure, not there. That also means this isn't under our jurisdiction. Guess we better get in touch with science somehow. Yeah, I'll handle that. So, what are we gonna do about the young master and Spacey? They might not have seen his face, but they did witness Boro doing his thing, you know? I bet he's gonna go after them next. Worse, he might even target the kids at the orphanage. You know, Hugo! What the fuck, dude? What? Could you... I'm already scared. Don't make it worse, bro. It might be true, but Jesus. Tact, Hugo. Oh, no. For the time being, shouldn't our first priority be to plan her security? And then she and Mathis can stay with the Corps, or come over to my place away from town. Either works. I don't want the children to be harmed, so if you don't... That isn't necessary. The church door slammed open and the Royal Guard soldiers who recovered the body walked in. They all looked horribly pale, probably from witnessing the gruesome crime scene. Even so, they tried to maintain their swagger as they strutted over to us. One of the soldiers brought out a familiar scroll and spread it open for me to see. The parchment succinctly stated that the king was indignant by the murders that occurred near the royal residence. As such, the gag order was completely lifted and all forces would seek to capture or kill Boro once again. King's like, nah, I was too close to home, motherfucker, get him. To that end, the two who had witnessed the crimes and were likely to be his next targets were declared to be bait for Boro and not to receive any protection or security. What? Oh my god, what the fuck? That is the worst. Oh my god. The king's like, yeah, no, but tell everyone. And also, fuck security for these bitches. Put them out in the square. Tie them up and leave a fucking bell. What the shit? I mean, I should have expected this from this game. But the logic is so bonkers. Like, no, use them as bait. Don't pretend. No. Put them out. Put them out in the square. Like, we're going to use them as a sacrifice. What are, like... Oh my god. What are those, like, a pissed off volcano god? So we're going to sacrifice these two virgins over here to the volcano. So that, like... Highly expected for this game, to be fair. But it's still fucking funny. Oh my god. There you go, Hugo's like, the fuck? And Eve is like, sad. He's got a sad concern, like, oh, we're gonna have to lose our friends. And Adolphe just blue screened. He's like it does not compute. It is not registering in his brain right now. There is smoke coming out of his ears as he's trying. That hamster's not turning that wheel right now. Adolphe's expression went cold. He just looks like he's totally frozen. And Eve chuckled bitterly. I thought they were finally pulling their own weight, but guess not. Man, our country really sucks. Hugo muttered in a low voice that couldn't be heard by the Royal Guard. We didn't have the right to go against a royal proclamation. However, we would only agree under two conditions. We can't go against it. But we're only going to agree if we have our conditions met. Like, you don't have a choice. We didn't want the children to be put at risk, so I'd be moving elsewhere for now. Minimal security would also be in place, though not at a level to deter Boro. After discussing our next steps, keep Lucas, because we know he can punch holes in walls. So. I'll contact Jean to confirm, but Hugo and I'll stay at Mathis's place to guard him. So, Adolphe will guard Spacey then. No, the Royal Guard ordered me to stay with the Corps and coordinate their movements. And then what? None of our other guys will last 10 seconds against that damn Boro. If you want security, have Lucas Prouse do it. Interrupting our conversation was the Royal Guard soldier we only just met. What do you know about Lucas? As Adolphe and the others stared at the soldier, I could almost hear them thinking, what are you talking about? The new topic of our discussion stood still with a serious look on his face. Seeing that Lucas wasn't saying anything, I slowly raised my hand. A classroom girl. May I ask why? An ordinary citizen would be in danger too. What? You folks are supposed to be the Corps and you don't know who he is? Alright, okay. According to his family registry, Lucas Proust's father is a former royal guard who moved from Cheetahs to Cohen. He's the son of the previous corps leader. Of course he'd have sufficient training. That could explain, like, his ability. Well, I don't think that explains his magical fucking punching a hole through a fucking ribcage ability. I'm exaggerating slightly, but still. It is true that I learned the basics of self-defense. His voice was clear in the silence. I mean, I think we kind of already knew he, quote-unquote, knew the basics of self-defense, so. I don't think we knew that his father was the corps leader, whatever. You know, look at them. Huh? The three slowly turned toward Lucas like rusted cogs. Son? A boss's son? You're kidding me. Oh my, I thought you all knew that when we first met. I don't know exactly what my father did, as we never spoke about it, but I did hear through rumors that he was the leader of the corps before he passed away. Huh? Liar! You two don't look alike! How the hell can genes from that towering Hulk make a guy like you? Hugo! I love Hugo. I've never even heard him use a surname! Perhaps he didn't disclose it because Cheetah's residents can't join the corps. Responding to Hugo's question slowly revealed Lucas's relationship with the previous leader of the corps. It was then that I realized Adolphe and Eve had been unusually quiet. They're just staring. That is more expression on Adolphe's face than when it was Spacey can't have protection and she's bait, and he just blue screened, and now he's like, whoa, wait. Now he's processing. I turned around and saw Adolphe and Eve shaking slightly, having broken out in a waterfall of cold sweat. Interesting. What the? Well, you see, the previous leader of the corps was so strong that no one stood a chance, even if they ganged up on him. Well, Lucas definitely has that. He was particularly strict against his two apprentices there. Do you think the reason why Bordeaux's poses are the same as Lucas's is because Bordeaux was actually his dad, who isn't really dead? If he became a reliver, though, why would he be killing relivers and trying to stop them? I'm just saying, that could be why the poses are the same. Well, we did the same poses so that you'd think it's Lucas, but it's not really Lucas, it's actually his dad. But I still think it's... I just think that there's more than one, because you gotta train your apprentice, you know? Although it is interesting, if Lucas's father was especially strong, that, like, Lucas inherited all of his looks from his mother, but all of his strength from his father. That's kind of interesting. You don't know how to swim. It's unforgivable to have such a weakness as a soldier dedicated to protecting the people. I'm gonna throw you out in the ocean, so find a way to swim back, Adolphe. Adolphe's trauma. Eve, you have a great talent for swordsmanship, but you obviously lacked stamina. As such, you're to wield no weapons for 3 days. You'll not eat or drink. I'll chase you with an axe, so run for your life. Well, an axe, halberd, okay, maybe. Maybe he's not really dead. Listen, I would take that if it's like, well, it's not really Lucas, it's Lucas's dad, and that's why they have the same pose, because they wanted you to draw the Lucas connection. Okay. I would accept that. I will not accept that Bordeaux's just some random dude has no relation to Lucas whatsoever, but you recycled 2 of Lucas's poses for him. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just some fucked up shit. So. We'll begin our mock battle. Eve, Adolphe, come at me as though your lives depend on it. I'll train you to battle with the intention of killing you both. Amazing, they survived. They nearly died every time they saw him, so the old boss became a symbol of fear to them. That sounds just like him. The father was certainly very strict. You remember when Adolphe threw Eve at that bar? That's one of the techniques they learned from the old boss. Now that you mention it, that was a strange throw. I can only imagine the kind of training they went through to make them so frightened. Adolphe managed to recover and clear his throat before speaking again. I feel like I need to. I see. I'm surprised, but it all makes sense. So that strange power of yours comes from our boss's genes. Lucas Prouse, too. Lucas learned self-defense from his father, who was former Royal Guard officer and the first leader of the Corps. His delicate appearance belies his superhuman strength. Right? Okay. So, like, now we're like, Adolphe is like, that's superhuman strength yours. And we're like, what? I mean, he said it before, and we all brushed off. Like, right. Yeah, Lucas broke Eve's rib. Sure, okay. What was the other thing he did? And they were like, oh, yeah, okay. And Adolphe is like, why the fuck will no one believe me? And it was like, see? That was another thing. I'm just saying. But I'm just saying, again, I'll take it if it's Lucas's father, if it's Bernard out there under the Bordeaux cloak, then I'll take it. I'm sorry for teasing back then. I wasn't trying to hide my identity, but your reaction was just so amusing. Huh? Wait, Adolphe wasn't joking? Well, that's why I was brought back to life with broken ribs. And that's why he was able to knock back Bordeaux, surprise attack or not. Well, that's enough evidence for me. What if that's the case? Well, maybe he is the best we got to keep watch over her. Lucas, can you please take care of her? He responded with a perplexed smile. Sorry. I just got very distracted. Like, okay, we've looked at them all a million times, but there was something as I was reading it, and I kind of glanced up and, like, reading the last line and then to this one, and I'm like, there's something about Adolphe's hand. It's not that it looks right. There's just... Look, I'm just kind of now wondering, like, I need to see all of Bordeaux's poses to be like, does he have a different pose that relates to all of them? But I don't know why that just triggered a weird, like, that's like how Anko holds his, when he has his hair running through his hands is in a similar pose like that. I think it's his other hand, though, but, like, that was really fucking... Anyway. I feel like it. Now I need to see them standing next to each other just to be like, you know. Well, I feel the same way as everyone about protecting her, but I do have my concerns about having a young lady living with me. Especially since you were her teacher. By decree, the Royal Guard will not assist. I'm sorry, Lucas. I'll try my best not to get in your way. Oh, no, I'm just overreacting. If you don't mind, I'd be more than happy to invite you to my humble home. He's like, I just had to say that. He's like, I don't know about her living with me. I won't get in your way. No, it's totally fine. I'm okay with you coming to live with me because, like, I'm in love with you, but, like, whatever. He's overjoyed inside. I may be an unreliable knight, but I'll do my very best to protect the life of my dear student. Oh, Nadia's gonna fucking flip. She's gonna love this. The next day, I prepared everything I needed for my stay and left with Lucas, who came to escort me. So you finally realized this morning the reason the children at your orphanage were pouting. Yes. I didn't expect them to have so much to say about it.
No, don't go! We were going to play with you today, sis. No fair you always hang out with Monsieur Proust.
So much for getting along as friends. Damn that work of yours. You work here. It's just wrong that you and Monsieur Proust always go to some other orphanage. You know what? Shut up, Milo. Every other kid can complain, but fucking... I actually kind of find it cute that Milo's such a salty little douche. And then now he's like, it's not fair, because, like, so much for being friends. It's like, you're such a grouchy bastard. You're mad because I'm here. You're mad because I'm not here. Like, oh, Milo. You got the makings to be the perfect salty marshmallow. You really do. That came out really creepy, and that's not what I meant. Come now, let's not be selfish. She was here for so long, so isn't it you children who didn't take advantage of the opportunity? I'm sorry for the trouble, Spacey. And the children all wanted to play with you since you finally opened up, but I suppose they didn't know how they should approach you or what to say. So it's not like I did anything wrong then. I'm sorry I didn't approach you all sooner. When I come back, I'll play with everyone for as long as you want, okay?
Okay.
You promised. You better not get hurt. Milo being worried by being bitchy. Yes, I promise. Thank you, Milo. I'll ask the orphanages to send help, so don't worry about the chores here. And just make sure that you return safe and sound, and the children and I will be waiting. Understood. I'll be going, Mother. And here I am now. It's such a heartwarming experience. But I suppose this emphasizes the need to make sure you return without a single scratch. Quite the responsibility. We headed not toward his house, but down a road heading to the hospital. The reason was so we could explain to Nadia what happened. It needed to be kept secret, especially from a security standpoint. Lucas had been visiting Nadia daily to inform her of everything that happened that day in their diary. So instead of writing lies into something so precious, we decided it was best to simply let her know in person. Are you sure it's okay for us to visit Nadia when I'm Bordo's target? When I expressed my anxiety, Lucas responded with a worried look on his face. The royal family ordered that we live our lives as usual, and going to see her is an established part of my routine. It seems our assailant moves only during the night hours, so we can arrange our schedules to not be out too late. Understood. He wanted to see his dear younger sister, but now he needed to worry about the time. Thinking about it now was quite depressing, and I felt bad for dragging Lucas into my situation. Nadia's gonna be fucking stoked, though. You're living together? That's so great. That's like one step from marriage, you know? Ooh, boyfriend time. Oh, well, dahoot time, but still boyfriend time. Huh? Shoot. I input the wrong value. Test results are in trouble. His mind had been adrift, and now the data for one of the cloned bodies was etched with random numbers. Dahoot quickly deleted the history and recalculated the data. Okay, I guess we're not seeing cyan. I figured we'd see both, but... Oh, there we go. There's a boyfriend. What are you daydreaming about? It's not like you to make such an elementary mistake. I'm sorry. I was just thinking, that's all. He forced a smile on his face, then realized the man in front of him was the smartest and most talented man in the country. Seeing him so often must have made him forget that fact. Seeing him the way he acts made him forget that fact. That's fun. That's the underlying. Cyan, do you know anything about hereditary diseases? Too broad of a question. Give me the details. I don't have time to ask for details. I mean, I sort of have a hunch, but I'm not exactly sure. But if so, then she's... You're still so young, Dahoot, and you're already a researcher? That's amazing! I've never seen a researcher before. Huh? What do I think about being a reliver? Let me see. I think that even if I can live a long time, I'm afraid of losing my feelings of love in my original body. Just if I become a reliver and my love for my brother disappeared, that would be really sad. But what's sadder is losing the hands that I used to hold my brother's hands with. The people here tell me they'd rather die than become a reliver, but it's strange to give up so early in life. Say, Dahoot, I heard there are people who aren't relivers and can live a long time. People who live outside this country. So is it wrong to want to become like those girls who grow up to become wrinkled grandmothers? There's nothing wrong with being wrinkled and old. Thank you, Nadia. Thank you for your service in saying it's okay to be old. Unlike this game that's like, no, once you hit 23, you're basically dead, bitch. Nadia's over here validating all of our existences. I wonder why no one's trying to fight the curse itself. Like, fucking Nadia on the ball over here, like Jesus. The words of the young girl rang in his head. He'd heard many citizens complain about the the features of being a reliver, but never once had he heard of someone so remorseful over losing their body. Mother, no, Nadia was the second to express it. He couldn't stop himself from thinking about the girl's frail, bright smile etched into his mind. After groaning with his head down for a few moments, Daoud quickly raised it again with resolve. Cyan? I need to leave now, so please don't toss any more work to me. Daoud is me on a Friday. It's Friday, bitch. Fuck out. Like, yeah, I don't want to do any more work today, thanks. I knew we needed to explain everything. Still, I was a bit anxious that we were only going to scare Nadia by telling her about the fearsome Boro. Species targeted by a criminal, and my brother will protect her by living with her. How romantic! It's like a love story from a novel between a princess and her knight. I fucking told you. She don't give a shit about anything else. She's like, ah! God damn, I love her. I told you she'd be fine. It was quite obvious that my worries were for nothing when I saw Nadia's sweet, angelic smile. Is this where Dahoud's gonna bust in and they were like, wait, you all know each other? You know each other and I know you and oh my god, yeah. But after her excitement settled, she finally gasped in realization. It's nice to know you two will be living together, but I can't deny that I'm worried that your life is in danger. Listen carefully. You better not die on me, okay? Oh, and no getting injured either. And that means stepping outside is a risk too, so you don't need to force yourself to come and see me. I do have a new friend now, and Dr. Capucine spends time talking to me too. That's concerning. So I'll be fine. I'm sure of it. Perhaps she was saddened by her own words as Nadia's voice took on a quieter tone. I hadn't even said a word about it, and she made the decision for herself. Again, I'm concerned about that obsession with the minor thing, because she's the only minor we've come across here, really. Dahoud technically is, but he's also a reliver, so, like, and if he, like, he's got an interest in Nadia and whatever, and even if he became, it's like, it's a 3-year age difference. I mean, it's a little weird that a 15-year-old's into a 12-year-old, but, like, you're, like, 3 years apart, you're both babies, so it's fine. Even though Dahoud's lived God knows how many years, so I guess that's the weird, but it's just not as weird as if it's Dr. Capucine, you know what I'm saying? But I really hope it's from a, like, I want to dissect her body, you know, and, like, use her for a lab rat, because that's weird, but it's not, like, gross. You know what I mean? You know? No, anyway. Oh! Man, we're just full of the Lucas CGs today. Oh! And us too, and look at it. Oh my god, it's like we're patting our daughter on the head. Oh my god. You know, actually, we look better in this CG than Lucas does. Lucas has the typical awkward giant eye that the MCs usually have. I'm sorry, like, this is an adorable CG, but we are stealing the fucking show here from our beautiful Lucas. Because they kind of made him slightly awkward. But look at the main character! Damn, she's so pretty! Lucas gently stroked her head. Believable. You shouldn't say things you don't agree with. I wonder who it was who cried every night after being admitted here, saying she was scared and lonely. That was so long ago! I'm grown up now, so even if you two don't visit me like before, I'm not lonely. At all. But I'd be lonely. Huh? I like how cute you are, Nadia, so if possible, I'd like to see you every day. What about you, Nadia? Would you really be alright if your brother and I stopped coming to see you? That was a lie. I wouldn't like it. I'd probably die from loneliness. After all, I treasure the time I spend with you and my brother more than anything else in the world. I'm happy to hear it. I haven't heard you talk like a child in a long while. I must put this down in the diary. Huh? It's sort of embarrassing to have me written into the diary. It's punishment for lying about your feelings, so accept it with grace. Nadia growled with her cute voice, but I could tell she was actually happy. But I'm surprised how alike you two are. We are like a family right now, and it's fucking adorable, and I love it. I know my brother pats my head a lot, but you too, Spacey. Lucas and I looked at each other with a puzzled expression. Our eyes naturally moved toward our hands on top of Nadia's head. Well, now, a coincidence. I guess your habit rubbed off on me. I continued rubbing Nadia's soft hair in unison with Lucas. It's like two parents trying to console their child or something. It's just, it hurts my heart because it's like, look at the, again, this is one of the, look at these beautiful moments the game's giving us. It's so wholesome and wonderful, and oh god, everyone's gonna die and it's gonna turn awful. I love how awful this game is. It's been a while since someone other than my brother patted my head. It feels so warm. I feel like we're all family now. Dahud runs in and shoves himself in there. Come on, pat my head too. I gently placed the bed sheets over Nadia as she slept so she wouldn't get cold. Lucas and I sat next to each other near her bed and watched her sleeping face. Never expected her to fall asleep while we were rubbing her head. She's like a cute little kitten. Nadia mumbled some words in her sleep. Ah, there you are, Lucas. I turned around at the sound of the door opening and saw a nurse in a white robe peeking inside. Dr. Capucine was looking for you, saying that there was something important to talk about. It seems he's busy right now, so would you mind heading to the patient's room he's in? Understood. I wonder what he needs to talk to you about. I believe it's about the lessons I give here. I haven't given him a proposed schedule for my next visit. Please excuse me for a moment. Can you please watch over Nadia in the meantime? Sure, we'll see you later. After gently stroking Nadia's head, he followed after the nurse and left the room. I continued keeping watch over Nadia as she slept soundly while the sun began to set. Huh, she's so cute. I can look at her for hours. If I weren't involved in a dangerous incident, I'd gladly look after her for hours on end. Without realizing it, I moved closer to Nadia and whispered into her ear as she slept. So sorry I'm dragging your brother into my own problems. I'll do my best so we can come and visit you without worrying as soon as possible. Make sure Lucas won't be involved in this for much longer. She asked me not to die or get hurt. Remembering Nadia's kind wish, I made a promise, even though I knew she wouldn't reply. I had no intention of waking her up, but... Nadia's eyes slowly opened. Easy? Please? Help my brother be happy. Huh? She must be half asleep. Nadia mumbled the words as if she was dreaming of me. Brother always thinks of me. He works a lot to pay for my hospital bills. He never thinks about his own happiness. Even the diary, he only writes in it because of me. I knew he was handling a lot of things by himself, but her words made me realize why he continued working even when he had his coughing fits. Nadia. Serious. Even if it's for a moment. You're really sweet. So if you could be my brother's wife, and me my sister-in-law, we could be one big, happy family. A single tear rolled down my cheek. Sorry, Nadia. I'm deaf, so your wish is something I can't agree to willingly. I can only wipe the tears from my eyes. Also, I don't think it's my choice if I get to be Lucas's wife. I think he needs to also agree. It's like two people have to make that decision, you know? Not up to just one or the other. After leaving my younger sister in her care, I was led to a room without any patients. Her condition is getting worse. I quickly stood up from the seat upon hearing his sudden words. It can't be. But she was just talking to Spacey with so much spirit. On the surface, yes, but you must know that Nadia suppresses her pain when she's in your and your guest's presence. Even talking should cause severe pain to her throat and lungs. The way she hides her suffering and doesn't complain is very much like you. I could only stay quiet at the doctor's words. He was right that she was very strong and could bear any kind of treatment, and if it caused her pain. But there's a limit to how much pain she can endure. At this rate, her organs are already beginning to fail. In order to prevent that, you know what you must do, right, Lucas? I patted my shoulder and smiled gently. I knew more than anyone how trustworthy his eyes were. Yes. Ah, that's right. Why rush? We've overcome dangers like this many times before. As long as we have the doctor and God, I'm sure Nadia will recover to full health no matter the circumstances. I'm pretty sure the doctor's like, dude, she's about to die. You know what you have to do? Yeah, God will handle it. I don't think so. I don't know. I think God hates everybody on this island if there is a God watching over this island. Like, he hates you. So, I need to do what I can as her brother. I need to hurry. Since she had little freedom, I needed to give her as much happiness as possible. But in order to do that, I wonder if you know what you need to do. You need to get me more hearts, bitch. I'm just saying. Maybe, She said if she had died, she would never be able to help me again. I wasn't long for this world, but she still worries about me. And the face of my dear student came to mind. But for some reason, my chest ached terribly. An interesting twist. Like, yeah, your sister's about to die. And then I'm thinking of Spacey. Like, I mean, I'm sure there's a flow in his brain. We just don't know what it is. You know what I mean? Well, I'll come and see you again tomorrow, Nadia. I know it isn't night yet, but good night, Nadia. He bent down to give a gentle kiss on Nadia's forehead after she awoke from her nap.
Yes, good night, brother.
Nadia did her best to move her head so that she could kiss his forehead too.
Beezy, I'll see you tomorrow.
Please be careful. I will, thank you. Please pray for everything to be resolved soon. After tucking her in again, we left the room together. Figured Dahut was going to show up. Well, but I guess he's going to show up when we're not there. Nadia watched from her bed as the two of them departed side by side like a married couple. She began to cough as soon as they left.
My brother, he knew I was holding back my coughs.
It was obvious since he decided to leave an hour earlier than usual.
But it was still worth it. I was able to talk to both of them today.
If pressed to make a choice, Nadia would easily choose spending time with them at the expense of her comfort. Yet her body didn't entirely agree. Even if she wanted them to stay longer, the oxygen she needed to stay alive was a source of suffering, triggering her coughs. A frail soul who wasn't allowed to be selfish. Just as tears rose in her eyes from frustration about her circumstances. Hey, Nadia! I'm here for a visit, just like I promised. Huh? What? Why are you crying? Could it be that someone was mean to you for talking to a reliever like me?
Dude! Oh, not at all.
The young man she befriended only recently quickly handed her a handkerchief. I just want them to be able to grow old together. They're like best childhood friends, but like he's always going to be 15 and she's going to die. But like, I'm just saying, in a perfect world that we do not live in this game, we would be able to just age gracefully and these two could just grow old together. They start out as little besties, like, oh, we're best friends hanging out. And then all of a sudden one day it's like, oh, you know. Then they just fall in love in college. Okay, come on. Stop it. Nadia took the handkerchief, but she was in no state to dry her tears yet.
My brother and Spacey came by to see me just now.
Your brother? Oh, yeah, you're Lucas's younger sister. Those two are working together, right? Toad was amazed by how everyone was connected after first hearing how Spacey and Nadia met. But why would she be crying about something as happy as family coming to visit her? Just as Dahut was about to ask that question.
She and my brother.
Yeah?
It's nice to see them getting closer to each other.
Oh. He didn't know what she was implying. Dahut decided not to ask her his question and simply listened to her. Nadia continued to mumble in a quiet voice.
But I'm so weak. I can't even step outside the hospital. So I only know how happy they are in their daily lives through words or from the diary.
Yeah. At this point, Dahut decided what she was trying to say. Tears continued to flow as Nadia continued.
If I had a choice, I'd want to be with them, not here on this bed all alone. I want to be a part of their happiness. I want to see them together with my own eyes.
Nadia rolled up her sleeves with shaking fingers. Dahut almost gasped when he saw how thin her arm was.
See, my body's so weak that I can't move. I can't even do my best to regain my health so that I can be with them. Because ever since I was born, to die. Isn't it strange? It didn't bother me before, but the moment I got a kind sister-in-law, I just couldn't.
Violet was speechless. Hearing her earnest desire made it hard for him to say anything in response. From a researcher's standpoint, her body was too weak to bring her wish to fruition.
No, even just once. I want to do my best so I can be next to them for as long as possible.
As long as possible. Toad finally knew what she meant by that. Something even Spacey didn't notice. Not a single word of consolation came to mind. Is he going to kidnap her and then make her relive her at 12? Could he say that she'd get better one day? But if he lost to his emotions and consoled her with empty words, he'd probably kill himself for being so irresponsible. I love that, like, Todd loves her too. He's like, this poor kid. Like, stop it. Well, I know I said it before, but thank you for taking me in. Oh my god. Lucas in different clothing. Lucas in his pajayjays. Like, I'm sorry, you look so and your hair's down. You look so normal. Well, I don't know what to do with this. I mean, normal for, like, the time period. But compared to the fancy-ass outfit you wear, you just got a big-ass cardigan on, just plain pants, and then, like, that's a cute little, like, tank top thing you got going on. Like, but, like, seriously? Your little nightie slip? Yes, and no problem at all. But please feel free to use the bed. If there's anything you need, by all means, please let me know. Like, it's just so strange seeing you in just a normal and not... This is... Okay. Thank you very much. I'm sorry to bother you like this, but let me repay you for letting me stay by handling the cooking and daily chores. I'm looking forward to it. Your cooking is exquisite. I know it's a terrible thing to say, but I should thank Bordo for giving me the opportunity to enjoy your home cooking. He's like, having you in my bed is making me ecstatic, even though you're in the bed and I'm on the floor. It doesn't matter. No, I shouldn't have said that. The sight you witnessed was too gruesome to make light of. Seeing his concern made me feel relieved. After all, it didn't feel right for me to borrow the bed of the master of this house. Well, how about we sleep together then? Oh! Oh! Sir! This is what I was saying when we were all staying at frickin' Adolphe's house, like puppy pile on the bed. It's cool. I could only nod in response, as his smile made it hard to determine whether he was joking or not. You're like, I mean, sure. You're gonna, oh my god. In any case, I prepared a simple soup and sandwich dinner for us today. After our meal, I helped him spread another set of bed sheets on the sofa he'd be sleeping on before I headed to bed. Well, are we just gonna gloss over? He's like, we could share the bed, and you're like, okay. You just, like, nod in response, like, all right, and then he still sleeps on the couch. We gave you the okay. He's like, she did not know how to say yes or no in that situation. Wise, Lucas, but I'm over here nodding emphatically like, yeah, come on, hop in. Again! Guys, I was trying to get us all to sleep together in a big pile in Adolphe's fucking little bed nook. Come on. I can't sleep. It was past midnight now, nearly 1 o'clock in the morning. I couldn't manage to sleep since my heart was racing anxiously. My body jolted from the rustling of the wind. No matter how many times I tried to go to sleep, images of the tragedy that occurred in the alley revived in my mind. For me, it'd be like awkward, like you're sleeping in somebody else's house. I awkward when I'm not sleeping in my own bed. Tragedy that was caused by the supposedly dead Boro. Fear struck me when I could feel his malice back then, and I still couldn't get that fear out of me. Lucas gonna climb into bed to comfort us, and come on. What should I do if Bordo came for me the moment I closed my eyes? What should I do if Lucas was caught in the middle and killed? I could only imagine the worst scenarios. I turned over in bed without a sound so that I wouldn't wake Lucas, but the bed shook slightly. Curious, I raised my face from under the bed sheets. Lucas, who should have been asleep, had his back against the bed. Next to him were piles of papers, and in his hand was a fountain pen to write with. I'll be next to you until you can fall asleep. He's like, he knew we weren't sleeping, so he's like, boop! I'm just gonna sit right here, girl. Words sounding like a whisper to himself. As long as I hurt, you'll be safe, Spacey. I promise. See now, I sniffed a bit. Like I said before, you don't need to spoil me so much, Lucas. But thank you very much. I'm simply grading some homework since I can't sleep either. Got a lot of papers there. After more time passed, I finally fell asleep around 3 in the morning. He actually stayed next to me until I fell asleep completely. Yeah, 'cause, like, he loves you, so, like, you know? A few days passed. We continued our visits with Nadia and held classes at the facilities, but nothing had changed. As for Boro, he hadn't caused any more deaths, nor had there been any additional sightings of him. Still, I couldn't shake off my fears and kept waking up in the middle of the night. Each time, Lucas would sit next to the bed until I could fall asleep. Because, like, okay, so, like, if he's Boro, right? Or at least one of them. Although I don't know how we got a Boro and then he was the. I don't know how that works out, but, like, listen. The whole Capucine being like, you know what you need to do. And he's like, yeah, I gotta stab more people. And then he's thinking, like, he wants to save his sister. Because Capucine's using that as research for some reason. Because we're like, what does he do with the hearts? He gives them to Dr. Capucine. Okay? And then that could be that thought process of like, oh, I'm thinking about my sister. And he's like, well, and then he's like thinking about me because I saw what was happening and he traumatized me and he doesn't, and then he can't just leave to go kill people. Then we'll be like, oh my God, Bordo's out there and you weren't here. And like, that'll be obvious. But I mean, it doesn't explain how they were in the same place at the same time. Magic? Or there's multiple. I mean, each time Lucas would sit next to the bed until I could fall asleep. You know what I mean? So. Then one night, as Lucas and I were going through the homework gathered from the orphanage to be graded. Oh? What's that ringing? Transmitter we borrowed from the Corps to maintain communication rang softly. I was like, we don't have phones here, and I was like, oh, we have communicators, but not everybody has them or knows how to use them or whatever. Yes, Lucas speaking. So basically, he could have had a cell phone on him when Sister Salome called. Lucas, is Spacey there too? I think it's the first time we've called from our end. How are you two doing so far? Eve, Hugo! I heard kind, familiar voices from the device. I did something happen with the Claude family. Oh, well, that's why we called on Adolphe's behalf, to share some information. First, Mathis has been holed up in his room since we last saw him. I think he might be getting worse. Not even his trustworthy butler Jean's able to get to him. From the looks of it, he isn't scared of Boro, but more discouraged by how much stronger he is. So I guess that scene was more than enough to make him realize he's no match. That's horrible. And just when he was finally able to leave his room. Not much to do about it, honestly speaking. I've been cooking up some dishes and serving them to him, but... we can only do so much. Lucas, if we can get the situation resolved, you mind checking in on Mathis? We're all out of ideas. Of course. I'd be more than happy to help. But first, please don't pressure him. I'd just try to have him sleep and eat as much as he can. I could tell Eve nodded beyond the transmitter in confirmation. They then continued talking about the reliver technology used to bring Boro back to life. According to what science said when they finally got in touch, he's going to talk about the stolen shit that we know is in Jean's basement. And the Institute has full rights to reliver technology, and no one else has access, and I wouldn't allow it either. But assuming Boro did revive as a reliver, the only possibility is someone who was formerly associated with the Institute. May have stolen old equipment that was to be discarded and is using it illegally. Which we know Jean has, but he might not be the only one. Those were his thoughts on the matter. If so, then perhaps there's someone in the Institute assisting Boro. He mentioned it's unlikely, but he said he'd check for anyone suspicious among the staff to make sure. Oh, yeah, we also found out who one of Boro's victims was that night, but... Suddenly Hugo stopped for a moment. I could tell he was gathering the strength to somehow force himself to continue his sentence. The person was a reliever and a businessman who lived alone and had no family. And to be specific, he had a family before. If that father who barged into the orphanage... Oh, it's that father who barged into that orphanage for his kid, Dennis. I mean, and you're trying to tell me that Lucas had nothing to do with that? I don't know how they were in the same place at the same damn time, unless there's multiple, because again, you gotta train your backup or your replacement, but you cannot fucking tell me that that's not another, red flag over here in the Lucas's Bordeaux thing, okay? Huh? You're kidding. You mean him? Miss Spacey, hang on. Lucas quickly held my back up as I started to feel dizzy. Oh, okay. I didn't know him well, but he was someone I once spoke to. Just the thought of someone I knew being killed made me want to vomit.
I'm sorry. Oh, I know this would only scare you, but we couldn't hold this information back since you two did know him before.
Yeah, but I seriously doubt it has anything to do with your misfortune. It's probably just bad luck on his part, so don't worry. Besides, you know it's common to follow bad news with good news, right?
Oh, so there is good news?
Yep. Oh, that's Eve.
Oh yeah, after this incident, Science said he'd support us at the very least. So if Burrow strikes...
anyone acting as bait or guard or anyone else closely involved with the case will be allowed to become a reliever at no cost. What? Then that meant... if someone dies, then he'll revive the person into a reliever?
Oh yeah, so he said we should head to the Institute right away to get ourselves backed up.
Well, this is interesting. Because I don't think Lucas likes this idea.
We're gonna take our guys handling the night shift, along with Mathis and Jean.
As for you guys, I know you've got the sister at the orphanage. And what was her name again? Your little sister too, Lucas. Might as well since it's going to be free, so... It's fine. The cold voice stopped Hugo mid-sentence. Also, Jean's going to go back himself up, and are they going to not... They probably can't tell that he's Camille, but aren't they going to be able to tell that Mathis isn't a real person? Or that he's a conglomeration of people? I mean, maybe not, but... Hearing their surprise on the other end, the teacher calmly continued, My younger sister and I do not want life that's expendable. We will not become relivers. Before even the others could say anything, he quickly turned off the transmitter. Now we know his stance. We'll never become relivers. Lucas? About what you just said, did he say what I think he did? I'm sorry to not have disclosed this to you sooner. With that, Lucas reached out to a locked bookshelf. He then took out a familiar book. Ooh. I mean, we kind of knew. You kind of knew where this was going, and I'm not really surprised. I'm just surprised he was so yeah, no. He's like, no. Nadia and I may not live long, but we seek to live as humans and die as humans. I'm a follower of the anti-reliever group, the Society of Exorcists. I'm not surprised, because you're friends with Capucine, so that's not really that surprising. I don't think that was ever, fully made clear, but not surprising. But this is where we stop. It's dead black screen. Oh, now we're going to Lucas. Ooh, it's going to be so fun next time. But anyway, I will see you guys. Well, I'll wait for this to fully load in the middle of the thing, but anyway. Ooh, anyway. I will see you guys next time. Remember to give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to see more.